This is the video for dimensional analysis. So this is where we're going to be able to go from one unit to another. Now you already do this when doing like going from inches to feet, or in the cooking wise you go from cups to teaspoon, things like that. Okay, so the factor label method is how we're going to go from one unit to another, and what's going to happen is you're going to learn this now. It's going to get pushed aside for a little bit, and unit 6 it comes back full force. So it's good to make sure that you understand it with units that you know, because when unit 6 comes along, I'm going to throw units at you that you have no idea what they are. So you need to make sure you grasp this unit so you're able to bring it back. So with the factor label method, you're going to set up things so they cancel or factor out. So for instance, if we have centimeters, we want centimeters to go away, we're going to draw what's called a conversion table. To get the centimeters to go away, we need to divide by centimeters. And then if we're trying to get to inches, we're going to put inches on top. Now let's say we need to go to feet. That means we need to get rid of inches, so where is inches going to go? To the bottom, and then whatever you're trying to get to in that particular step goes on top. So then we're going to put feet. So you can see all the diagonals are going to cancel out. So the centimeters go away, the inches go away, and we are left with our final destination, which is feet. Okay, so that's the simple concept behind this. You should always have some sort of pattern. These always are going to cancel, and then whatever you're trying to get to goes on top. So some quick steps for this. You need to first identify where you're starting and ending. Line up conversion factors so units cancel out. That's your angles there. Multiply all the top numbers and divide by each bottom number. Check units and answer. So these are the conversion factors that we're going to be using. You do not have to memorize these. They will always be given to you. They're also in your notes already, so when you're doing classwork and homework, you should be able to look at that. Okay? Most of these should be familiar. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. Your European hairdresser wants to cut your hair 8.0 centimeters shorter. How many inches will he be cutting off? So a lot of people can't visualize centimeters, but you can visualize inches because that's what we're used to in the United States. So what you need to do is take the 8.0 centimeters and convert it to inches. So we figured out our starting and our ending point. We're starting with centimeters. We're trying to get to inches. Okay? So to start off your table, always you're always going to start by writing your given and draw your table. So the number here is always your given with its units, at 8.0 centimeters. Now, this is where the trick comes in. This is where it becomes a puzzle and you have to figure it out. You need to get this to inches. To do that, you need to look at your conversions and figure out which one is going to help you get there. So you're looking for the conversion factor that has centimeters and inches in it. Now if you look, you should see this one. 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. Okay, so that is the conversion that we are going to put in here. So all the numbers that come after your given are going to be your conversion factors. Now before you go plugging numbers in, we need to figure out, okay, we have centimeters here, so where's the centimeters going to go on the table? That's where setting it up correctly is going to be key. So if we have centimeters here, we need centimeters to go away. To get rid of them, we have to put centimeters on the bottom. Then whatever you were trying to get to in that particular step goes on top. So in this particular step, we are trying to get to inches. Now you've got your unit set up, plug the numbers in. So using our conversion factor here, okay, using this, what goes with inches? 1. What goes with centimeters? 2.54. So your centimeters are going to cancel. You're left with inches, which is what you want. So then the math part of this is you're going to multiply the top, so 8.0 times 1, divided by 2.54. And when doing sig figs, you're only going to look at this initial number. So 8.0 has 2 sig figs, so your final answer should only have 2 sig figs. So plug it in and then check your answer. and you should get 3.1 inches. Okay, so let's try another one. So tag football needs 550 centimeters for a first down. How many yards is this? Okay, so what's your given and what are you trying to get to? This time we're given centimeters and we're trying to get to yards. Now, if you look at your conversions, there's no straight path going from centimeters to yards. There's nothing that has both of those in the same conversion factor. So you're going to have to figure out a path from what conversion table to what is going to get you there. So for instance, okay, what do we know about centimeters that may eventually get us to yards? The one that we just used. 2.54 centimeters is 1 inch. So this is going to be our first conversion factor. It's going to get us there. Now, what do we know about inches that can eventually get us to yards? 12 inches equals 1 foot. Okay, now that we know that, how can we get to yards? 3 feet equal 1 yard. Okay, so we're going to have 3 conversion factors that are going to go into our table. You do not have to do any calculating until you've got your table completely filled in. So we're going to start by writing our given, 550 centimeters. Okay, and then follow the pattern. Do not overthink this. So if we have centimeters on top, we need to get rid of it. So we're going to put centimeters on the bottom. In the first step, okay, you can't jump to yards. You can't put yards up here. In our first step, what are we trying to get to? Inches. So we're going to put inches on top. Now that we've got that plugged in, let's put the numbers in. So inches is going to be 1. Centimeters is going to be 2.54. The centimeters cancel. We are now at inches. Is that our final destination? No, we are trying to get to yards. So we have to keep on going in our table. Now we have inches on top. We need to get rid of inches. So we're going to put inches on the bottom. See the pattern. And in the second step, we're going to go from inches to feet. So whatever you're trying to get to goes on top. So now we plug the numbers in. What's with feet? 1. What's with inches? 12. The inches cancel. We are at feet. Is that our final is that our final destination? No, so you keep on going. We have feet on top, we're going to put feet on the bottom. And whatever you're trying to get to in that particular step goes on top. So we're going to go from feet to yards. So how many yards are in a feet or in a foot? So we got 1 yard per 3 feet. Feet canceled. Is yards our final destination? Yes. So now you're going to multiply the top and divide by the bottom. Now there's 2 ways you can plug this in the calculator. You can do 550, divide it by 2.54, divide it by 12, divide it by 3. Because remember, you multiply the top and then divide by the bottom. Or if you want to plug it all in the calculator at the same time, you need to plug it in like this. So you're going to do 550 times 1 times 1 times 1, that doesn't matter. Divide it by parentheses 2.54 times 12 times 3, close parentheses. Now when you have a bunch of numbers at the bottom here, you need to make sure you put them completely in parentheses. Now remember, with these, for the sig figs, you're only going to look at the initial number. So 550 has 2 sig figs. So calculate this and check your answer with mine. And you should get 6.0 yards. Okay, now we're going to take it. Okay, the answer's already showing, so sorry, but you'll get there and you'll see how it comes out. Okay, so we're going to take it to the next step here. So what is the area of a plate in? There's a typo in your notes. So this should be centimeters squared, not cubed. Okay, so centimeters squared, mark out the cubed and put a 2 there. If it is 625 inches squared. Now, do any of our conversions have anything to do with inches squared or centimeters squared? No. So, you're going to have to get it there. Okay, you can't just use these for that. Okay, so pay attention. This one's a little bit different than what we've been doing. Okay, so our given is inches squared, and we're trying to get to centimeters squared. Now, what's the conversion that's going to help us go from inches to centimeters? Inches to centimeters is the same one that we've been working with right here. But there's a difference. We have our squares. Now, this is going to be the key thing here, is that since these are squared, we need to square this conversion before we can plug it into the conversion table. So what do I mean by that? So this means literally you're going to take this and square everything inside. So when you square everything inside, okay, 1 squared is 1, inches squared is inches squared, equals 2.54 squared is going to be 6.45, and then centimeters squared. This is the conversion that we're going to have to use. Okay, you can't just plug in the 2.541. You have to square it just like your units in the problem. So take the conversion that you need, if it's squared or cubed, and do that to the conversion, and then plug it in. So when we actually set up our table, you should get 625 inches squared. Okay, we have inches squared on top, so we're going to put inches squared on the bottom. We're trying to get to centimeters squared, so that goes on top. So now using the new conversion factor that we've created, we're going to plug our numbers in. So for inches squared, we're going to put 1. For centimeters squared, we're going to put 6.45. So now your inches squared cancel, multiply the top, divide by the bottom. When you do this, you should get 4,030 centimeters squared. I want you to take a second and work this one out. Pause the video. I know the answer's already there, but pause the video and make sure that you're able to get to this answer. Once you are done, come back to the video and check to see if you got it correct, the setup of the table and everything. Okay. Now that you've got it complete, make sure that your table looks like mine and that you have gotten this final answer. Okay. Now for this next one, you're sort of using what you know. What do you know about weeks? How can you get to minutes? So we're going from weeks to minutes. So we're going to start by writing 3.5 weeks. What do we know about a week? Okay, use your brain a little bit here. What do we know about a week? There are, in 1 week, 7 days. Okay, so we got rid of the weeks. What do we know about days? Well, for 1 day, there are 24 hours, right? Now that we know how to get the hours, how do we get to minutes? So for every 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. Okay, you're just taking what you know and going with it. So the days cancel, the hours cancel, and you're left with minutes. So to get your final answer, multiply the top, divide by the bottom. And you should get 35,000. Remember, you're only allowed 2 sig figs. 3.5 only has 2 sig figs, so your answer can only have 2. So you have 35,000 minutes. Okay. I want you to take a minute and try this one on your own. This is very similar to the one that we did with the squares, but this time you are cubing it. So do it, and then come back to this and make sure that you've done it correctly. Okay. So again, the key thing here is that before you can plug your conversions in, you need to make sure that you've cubed them so they match what's in here. Then the feet cubed goes in the bottom and turn into your inches cubed. When you calculate it, you're only allowed 3 sig figs, so you end up with 8,210. And this should not say milliliters. This should say inches cubed. I don't know why it says milliliters. Okay. We are going to do more practice in class, so please make sure that if you have any questions or if you know where you're getting lost, that you bring that to class.